So how crazy was that UFC 217?
That was probably, I think it was the best card they've had in a long time. A lot of upsets, a lot of, well, at the time of our recording, nobody heard our predictions because we lost that episode.
Yeah, this is sort of our redo of that episode where we gave our predictions for UFC 217, but that was the episode that our software glitched and it didn't record, so now we're just going to talk about the results.
Yeah, well, if anyone had heard that episode, they'd know we were dead wrong on everything we predicted.
Actually, I was wrong on everything. And I
was right on GSP.
Yeah. You got GSP while I took Bisping, but I mean, to start this one off, might as well start with the main event. That was an insane fight. I did not expect that from GSP. Not only was he heavier than he usually is, he was also out for 4 years. And he's also, for a long time now, still working on his mental issues, which is no doubt as a result of his fighting career. But not only did he knock him down, he didn't only knock down Bisping, could have knocked him out, but he decided to submit him with a rear naked choke. That was amazing fight.
And that's classic GSP too. Taking a guy and, having him beat with the ground and pound and slipping in a submission. That's classic George. And it was really nice to see that in the octagon again. He does have a level of skill, and I stand by what I've said. I think he's been the best ever at actually combining and being a true mixed martial artist rather than leaning on one outstanding skill over the other.
For sure, definitely.
So it was really nice to see that. I did think he had a couple moments where he looked shaky and the ring rust showed.
Well, I rewatched the replay of the I believe it was a left hook, but the hit that knocked down Bisping, it kind of seemed almost on accident, right?
Maybe. You pretty much mean for everything to hit, but...
Right. But just the way that I was looking at it was, it happened so fast, like these sort of things normally do. But it looked like he tried to counter Bisping, and he threw a wild-looking left hook, and it just caught Bisping right on the button. He had to have been knocked out for at least a split second. But, of course, that's what led to, the grounded pound and then ultimately the submission. Yeah.
And Bisping was doing some damage from the bottom when he was taken down the first time, too.
Yeah, that was probably, besides the finish, which was amazing, but that was probably my favorite moment of that fight, was that Bisping was on the bottom, and he was just fucking up GSP. Like, GSP, when they stood up, that's when he had all the blood all over his face. But that's kind of Bisping's done that before. But it was just amazing to see.
Yeah, Bisping probably fights off his back about as good as anybody.
Yeah, probably better. Now, before we get into the other fights, there was one more prediction that we had in that episode. And that was Hendricks not making weight.
Oh, yeah. Well, he made weight.
He made weight, but Costa...
He looked awful.
Yeah, he looked... Costa looks like a fucking tank, and Hendricks just... I'm not surprised he lost that fight, but that was just a little side thing.
He has not looked good in the USADA era. The last fight where he looked really good was his fight with GSP, and that was pre-USADA.
Yeah, there's several fighters that are like that, and he's definitely one of them. Once USADA started, testing everybody, him, along with a few other fighters, really started to show how dependent they allegedly were on those performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, officially if he was, taking any PEDs or if he was just doing what everybody else was doing and getting a TRT exemption and taking that.
Probably, for everyone that doesn't know, the TRT is not performance-enhancing drugs. It's testosterone replacement, which is also illegal under USADA.
Yeah, and in the context of sports, it makes sense for it to be illegal because, you know, a fighter who's got 20 years of experience getting his T levels boosted back up to that of a 20-year-old.
Right.
You know, even though it's a natural level, it's unnatural level for, a 40-year-old athlete that can, then have a body that can compete with a 20-year-old while having all that experience.
Right. But as we pretty much figured, I mean, we didn't even really go into detail with it. Costa did pull that win. But the fight, probably the most shocking fight to me, actually, it's not. Well, but we'll do that one last. But the one that I would have said at the time that we made our predictions, I was 100% confident that Garbrandt would win. Cody Garbrandt would win over TJ Dillashaw.
And I wasn't 100% confident. If you remember, I did say I wouldn't be surprised if TJ won.
Right, but I definitely was. And plus they had this whole bad blood drama story. We don't have to go into detail with that, but
anyone who cares about that knows about that. So
right, and
it's hard to miss with those two.
Yeah. But Dillashaw came out victorious, and I don't know if the bad blood's still there, and I don't know if there's going to be. I mean, pretty sure there's going to be a rematch, of course, right?
Well, Uriah Faber said he would come out of retirement to fight TJ as part of that Team Alpha Male bad blood stuff.
Really? I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't think they should let Uriah come out and just do an immediate title fight. I mean, it'd be a good money fight, I think. But at the same time, I think TJ is at too dominant of a point in his career. I think TJ would actually beat him pretty bad.
Right, yeah. I don't think... If that was to happen, I would definitely pick Dillashaw over Faber.
And, Garbrandt at the time, he was definitely upset with the stoppage, and he felt like he was still trying to defend himself. And if you notice, if you watch it back, TJ, as he's coming up for the final bit of ground and pound that, got him stopped, his leg actually traps Cody's arm, where he can't come up and try to defend his head. And Cody's trying to, but he can't get his arm around his leg, around TJ's leg, so he's just taking shots, and it looks like he's not defending.
Oh, boy.
And I think he's feeling like that he still had some to go, but the ref from where he's standing can't see that. Well, it's not illegal even if he can see it.
Yeah, but plus the ref can't take any chances. I mean, if he thinks that you're done, then you're more than likely done. It's very rare that a fight gets stopped prematurely like that. And plus, yes. I mean, you said the replay. I actually didn't rewatch the replay of it, so I didn't see that. But you also got to take in consideration typically if a fighter gets knocked out, especially, he's probably not going to know what happened after he woke up. He probably has totally different memory of what happened. So, I mean, maybe it could have gone further, but we'll never know.
We know Cody felt that way because Cody launched back to his feet right after the stoppage and was cursing at the ref. Cody was not happy with it at all. But I mean, Cody's that type of guy too. He probably could have been really hurt and still wouldn't have been happy with it. But
yeah, I mean,
but that fight was one of the best of the evening. Very back and forth. They both hurt each other.
Yeah.
I mean, he rocked TJ pretty hard. He actually knocked him down pretty hard too.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that one because, I like both of those guys. I mean, I know they can't stand each other, but I've always thought TJ was a good fighter, and he's a bit of a smart ass, but I actually kind of like cocky athletes, so it's not a problem.
They're both pretty cocky, man.
Yeah. But I actually like both of those guys, and it was a really good fight for me. And, I wasn't surprised that TJ won it, but it wasn't the way I thought it was going to go either.
At least decision, right? Fighters of that caliber, both of them?
I honestly thought that sooner or later someone would cause enough damage to get that fight stopped because they're both very heavy-handed strikers for their weight class. And they've both got really dangerous ground and pound. They're really dangerous fighters. And I thought with the bad blood and the way that the two of them really wanted to go at it, that someone was going to get caught.
Yeah, you might be right. But what about his post-fight interview where he called out Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, I actually didn't get to see the post-fight interview because I watched it at Buffalo's, and you can never hear what they're saying.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So fill me in on that.
Well, basically, he congratulated Cody and said it was a good fight, blah, blah, blah. Then he went on to call out Mighty Mouse, saying that he's going to drop down to that weight class and beat him. He said that all of his wins are fraudulent, and he's going to come to his division and take his belt. In a nutshell. So, that would be an amazing fight. I think I would rather see that than a rematch.
Usually Mighty Mouse only wants to fight the guy who's in the top of the rankings, though. He doesn't usually do this, fighter comes down and, fight him at the top, fight him immediately at the top.
Yeah, he's very particular.
I mean, and one could say that he's doing that to avoid certain fights, like that he didn't want Cody, but can TJ make 125?
In a healthy way, I don't think so. Cody, I could see that because Cody's frame is a lot smaller, but TJ's just a big guy. If he does manage to get down that light, I think Mighty Mouse is going to have a heavy advantage.
I know there'd be a lot of reach for TJ. And again, TJ's got that collegiate wrestling background, and that really does help with a weight cut.
Yeah, but you also, look what happened to Connor when he dropped all that weight, He looked like he was dying. And
Connor doesn't have that wrestling background, though. He doesn't have that experience with having to cut deep like that.
That's true.
It's like a regular thing for wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like weight cutting.
How many pounds would that be total? Just to make weight? Assuming that they're not going to do a catch weight either.
That's probably like a 20-pound cut, and I don't think Mighty Mouse will do a catch weight. I don't think he'll do that.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. If he even considers that, then he'll make him go all the way down.
He said on the record before that he has no interest in catchweight fights. So,
right,
he would have to do a change of tune to suddenly want to do a catchweight fight just to fight TJ. And talking all that shit, it never gets to Mighty Mouse. That's not going to make him want to fight TJ. The only thing that could make him want to fight TJ is for him to see TJ as like the legit best contender with 125. And to do that, TJ would have to come down and fight somebody else at 125 while not defending the 135 belt. It's a whole mess.
But I do hope he does accept it, because I think that'd be a really good fight.
That would be a really good fight. I want to see him in Cody. I want that to happen.
Wow. Definitely not going to happen now. They're probably going. I think they're probably going to do a rematch first before any of that gets discussed. I just have that feeling.
Yeah, there's a better shot of him fighting Cody now, because Cody, losing the 135-pound belt could easily cut weight and go fight 125.
Yeah.
There's a better chance of him and Mighty Mouse going at it, in my opinion, than than Mighty Mouse and TJ going at it.
Right.
But that's just me theory crafting it in my head. If I'm the UFC, the obvious first move is a rematch.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
But the UFC doesn't often rematch matches that are won in, really kind of decisive manners like that. It wasn't like a on the fence, edge of your seat, 5-round fight. It was a fairly solid win for TJ. So the UFC also sometimes doesn't rematch those unless they made them a lot of money the first time.
Well, like you said, it was a questionable stoppage because of Cody's reaction, and the replay showing that TJ had his arm down so he couldn't defend himself. That's still a legitimate thing, right? But if Cody
says... It's very smart on TJ's part. Very smart.
Yeah, it's very smart. There's not a lot you could do in that situation. But I don't know. I think they'd try to do it. If not a main event, then maybe a co-main event for the next fight that we're going to talk about. Maybe those two can co-main event.
Yeah, possibly.
So how about that last fight?
Talking about fuck Rose just blasting Joanna.
That was the most surprising of the night, I gotta say.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
Not only did she beat her, but she beat her in a very decisive manner in the first round.
Like worse than home beat Rousey.
Yeah, and I don't think I don't think you and I talked about this. No, I don't think so. But I watched the weigh-ins and the press conferences, and I was like, God, Rose is so scared. Like she looks scared. But joke's on me. Apparently, she was laser focused in on it.
I don't think she was scared a bit. I think she may have wanted Joanna to think that.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, Joanna was very, very cocky. She was. What was her record before this? I mean, she was undefeated, but.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact record, but she was, and we're talking very extremely long undefeated streak, holding the belt for a very long time, complete dominance of the strawweight division. Yeah,
and then her big surprise, the post-fight press conference, they asked her, what was the surprise that she was saying. She said that there was going to be a surprise after she wins during the weigh-ins. And they asked her what that was, and she had said that the surprise was that if she did win, that she was going to go up a class and take that belt. But I guess they're going to do a rematch with this one as well.
Well, that one makes sense. Like, she was so dominant for so long, and then to lose like that, it makes sense to give her another shot.
Well, yeah, they didn't give Rousey Holm another fight.
They wanted to.
Yeah, they wanted to, but I think Nunes was already champion by then, right?
Yeah, they wanted to, and they did give Ronda, as soon as she came back, another shot at the title. I mean, that title changed hands twice while Ronda was taking her long hiatus.
Yeah, that's right.
Holm lost it to Tate, and then Tate lost it to Nunes.
Well, who knows? I mean, maybe Rose can keep it long enough.
Maybe. I mean, Rose is a really good fighter, and I'd said that some of her training videos she looked especially sharp, but didn't expect her to look that sharp.
Yeah, it was insane. Well, I mean, that's our recap. We just wanted to do like a quick thing, especially since we lost our episode we had intended on putting out on Friday. But is there anything else that you want to talk about as far as UFC 217?
One thing.
Sure.
George St. Pierre is now champion at 185.
Very true.
That means that Anderson Silva and George St. Pierre could happen.
That's right, yeah.
They'd have to do one of those things like they did where they just make a match regardless of rankings and all that, but they did that for Michael Bisping and Dan Henderson.
Yeah.
To clear that up. I mean, this is in my mind, this is the UFC's chance to make that fight. It's a dream fight. It was talked about forever when they were both dominant. And in my mind, it's the match to make. I want to see that more than I want to see George defend that against any middleweight. Because that is a bigger deal, and it's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime fight. And I know I'm usually a big proponent of saying that they should follow the rankings, because it makes the rankings more impactful, makes them more important.
But as a fan...
Yeah, but as a fan, there are, in my opinion, like rare fights and rare opportunities that if you get a chance to make that fight, you make that fight.
Yeah, maybe not make it for the title.
I think you have to so that they get the 5-rounder.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
those two deserve a 5-rounder.
They can't just make a non-title.
Yeah, if you main event, it's 5 rounds anyway. Like even if it's non-title, main event is 5 rounds.
And I think that would have enough draw to be a main event. So yeah, they should definitely do that.
Yeah, those two. It could happen right here. I mean, if George doesn't choose to go back down, to his comfort zone. Mm-hmm. But from what I understand, his contract has like 1 title defense in it. At least 1, if he won it at this weight. That he wouldn't just immediately go down and not defend it and create another interim belt. Mm-hmm. I think you've got him guaranteed 1 more fight at middleweight. I think you make sure it's Anderson Silva.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. So, do you want to redo the Ask Anything from the lost episode?
Yeah, we should do that.
All right. Well, at the time that we recorded, it was National Sandwich Day. And we had a question in on what our favorite sandwiches were. And what was yours that you said?
The Reuben.
The Reuben, that's right, because that's my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite, other than the Reuben, was the Cuban. I think if done correctly, the Cuban is an amazing sandwich. But there was something else that John said that I think, because I haven't done it yet, I wanted to get this episode out there first before I did it. He proposed a type of sandwich that he likes. John, what was that?
That would be peanut butter, dill pickles, mayonnaise, and bananas.
God almighty. And I told him that I would get the stuff at the grocery store and I would make it and try it. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, it's good.
I mean, the peanut butter and bananas I can see. But the mayonnaise and the pickles is what's throwing me off.
It's a good flavor combination. It's all over the place.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the sandwich. I'll put a picture of it on our Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. And I think I'll actually post a picture of my reaction of trying it because I have a feeling it isn't going to be good.
It's delicious.
Okay, buddy. Bottle caps. And candy corn. Oh, okay. We had one more. We don't have to go into detail probably because we don't really remember what we said. But
I remember there was a very hunger-inducing discussion of Reubens last time. I do remember there was a very in-depth and hunger-inducing discussion of the Reuben.
The Reuben or the Cuban?
The Reuben. And the Cuban, actually. There was a whole lot of talk about sandwiches. I was hungry when that one ended, actually.
Okay. Yeah. And real quick, my wife wanted me to propose to you to try this sandwich because she says that this is her favorite sandwich, is getting like a ham and cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
Specifically, she likes to go to like Burger King because it has the croissant bun thing. So just ham and cheese and then strawberry jam.
It's strange, but I'll try it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound as bad as your fucking concoction, but she wanted me to tell you that so you could try it.
I've heard of like glazes like that on ham, so it doesn't seem so out there.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Not that I can remember. Wait, didn't you have like another question?
Oh yeah, that's right. Let me see. Oh, it was the one that was, how do we feel about turning 30?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, it feels like a big landmark, and it also feels like nothing at the same time. Like, numerically, it's a big landmark. You know, your 20s are over, yay. There's a little bit of a here lies my youth feeling. But that's just like how I feel about it on the surface. When I actually start to think about it, it doesn't feel like much of a big difference at all. And especially, now, because my mid to late 20s have been pretty much a mess of drinking way too much, poor diet, a more sedentary lifestyle than I had in my early 20s.
And he's going to be a personal trainer. That's what you're studying.
Yeah. And, that's part of turning it around, too. I mean, it's,
Yeah, this was a relatively recent decision you made.
Yeah. And, but living like that, I mean, I got where, at least for a while, I didn't feel good a lot of days.
Mm-hmm.
So, honestly, I think with a bigger focus on, having a good diet, putting my body in really good shape, couple that with, like, some of the lessons learned from doing Sober October and, trying to balance out some of my bad habits.
Right.
I honestly think I'll feel better in my 30s than I have for at least my late 20s.
That's awesome. I actually agree with you in my personal case. Because like you just said, your mid to late 20s was a mess. Well, my early to mid 20s was a mess. And not saying that I'm a gold standard right now, but comparatively, in some weird way, I'm actually glad I'm done with the 20s. I feel, as with anything, it's a new decade. So I feel like it's, in a sort of way, a clean slate. Something like, all right, let's start this off right.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that kind of feeling, too, that it's a bit of a clean slate. Like, okay, here's this new decade to do something with. And I'm trying to remind myself that it's not as much time as I think it is sometimes. Or that, I still have, like, plenty of time to do a lot of stuff. Because, there's a little bit of that feeling of, like, oh, no, now I'm too old to do this. Or I'm too old to do that. But not really. Because if I remind myself exactly how long ago, stuff was compared to, other landmarks in my life,
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of look back and be like, actually, no, you've got a ton of time. Like, if you look at this time period, you made all these changes in just like a few short months. You don't have to, you don't have to think that, oh, well, I don't have 15 years to dedicate to that, so I'm screwed.
You do, though. I mean, 30 isn't old. Really isn't.
Yeah, I mean, mostly I'm dedicated to, kind of keeping the mind and body feeling young. Like, whether it's still doing stuff I like to do when I was in my late teens, early 20s, not losing. Because I feel like people let their youth go.
Mm-hmm. I feel in what way?
Yeah, I feel like they kind of stop, they stop playing in life. They stop finding the things that they really enjoy and pouring time into it. And they actually let themselves kind of become old.
Right.
Through letting the things that, make them feel youthful and vibrant and fun.
I mean, I guess I kind of relate to that, but at the same time, the stuff that I used to do in my, late teens, early 20s, I legitimately just don't want to do anymore. So I don't know if it's me, as you put it, giving up my youth or what.
Well, there's a sliding scale there, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure not everything that you put away. I mean, like, if I don't drink as much as I did in my early 20s, well, that would probably be a good thing. But at the same time, if I just, for example, stopped going to rock concerts altogether, never went to another one, that would be something that, I used to really enjoy that I would, miss. I'd just basically be going, I guess I'm too old for that now. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to go drink a few beers and rock out like a high school kid. I'm not going to do that anymore.
Well, I mean, you probably won't join the mosh pits anymore, but you can still go enjoy them.
I was never all that big for that to begin with, actually. Because if I really like a band, I kind of want to be able to like really perceive what they're doing. Mm-hmm. The only times I've been in mosh pits really have been for bands that like I thought were only okay, and I didn't really care as much about watching everything they did.
Yeah.
But if I'm really into them, I want to see it.
So just capture your youth and keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to actually, if you don't want to start feeling old, I think you have to actually kind of consciously, make sure you don't start doing old person stuff.
Well, what is old person stuff?
Being all, too busy to live.
What does that mean?
I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Like, whenever it seems like people who they're good, hardworking people, but they never do anything. They never go anywhere. They just talk about it.
Yeah.
And they've started to like push it all back. They're like, oh, someday. Save
it for retirement, right?
Yeah, it's like they're waiting to get old now to enjoy life. And I think that's how you start to actually, mentally get old. And I think the body follows that.
I agree with that for sure. But, you also have the just types of people that they're wanting to strive for success over enjoyment of life. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that at all. But it sounds like that's just something that you're trying to not avoid, but just be aware of and be cautious of. Falling into that trap of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, wife, 2.5 kids, a routine, a very like a structured routine, right?
Yeah, because, I mean, for me, success, you can measure success a lot of different ways. Success is a very flexible definition depending on, who you're asking the question to.
Of course.
And, for me, success would be, enjoying my life and, getting to have, a really vibrant and fun existence. So, I mean, if I'm just slaving away in a dead routine and I wake up every morning feeling like, oh, God, time to do this shit again.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling like that, then whatever I'm pouring all my time into to get that money and all that, what's all the money for?
Yeah, that's something that I've always been worried about doing just because I've seen too many people fall into that trap that I really care about. And that's the type of person that works all the time to get money and then do nothing with the money except just pay bills. And
yeah, and work more.
Yeah, and they're They're not happy, not really, always tired.
Oh yeah, I mean, doing something you don't love will drain you. Like, even if it shouldn't be that physically draining, it will drain you.
Emotionally, feeling trapped.
Yeah, feeling like you're dragging yourself in there to do it again and again. That type of existence, it will drain you emotionally, spiritually, pardon the frou-frou term there, but...
Yeah, but some people, right? I mean, some people, of course there's some people that do enjoy that. But I think for people like you and I, that's just a nightmare to us.
Yeah, I almost never think about that sometimes. There probably are, people who really do enjoy that kind of structure and just grinding away like that. There probably are people who really enjoy that. I'm not one of them. That sounds like my definition of hell.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was a very long-winded version, but the answer to that Ask Anything question was, we're fine with it. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, kind of like a short answer and then a big tangent.
The theory of tangents. That's what we do.
Hey man, tangents are good.
They are. Sometimes.
Tangents are always good.
Yeah.
Like, when would you say a tangent is bad?
When you're trying to say something concise, I guess.
I don't know. I think tangents are good. They, that meandering mind thing, getting to talk about different shit.
Yeah, but that's, at a certain point, it does just become, all right, what are these fuckers really talking about here? Make your point. Make it soon.
I've just successfully created a tangent, and I did it on purpose.
Oh. Inception tangents.
Tenception.
All right. Well, I think this is going to be it for this episode. Like I said, it was really meant to just fill in that gap of the lost episode and talk about that crazy UFC event. But next week, I believe we're going to start to tackle the alien topic. And I say it that way because I've kind of been avoiding it, because I know it's a very in-depth topic that could probably take an entire episode or maybe a series of episodes. And I just think it's something that we should talk about. I think it's an interesting topic. What do you think?
I thought Donald Trump already took care of our alien problem.
Oh, man. You're going to hell,
Probably not. I don't think it's there. Anyway. I mean, if it's there, I'm going. But,
If it's there, I am for sure going.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, yeah, so next week we're going to talk about aliens. As far as what specifically about aliens, we don't really know yet. We'll just leave it at that for now.
It'll be anal probes.
It will not be anal probes.
I don't think you can have a pertinent discussion about aliens without discussing those.
Well, maybe we can touch on the history of that and where that came from, because that actually came from a real abduction story. But
oh, did it really? Because I thought it was actually just a joke that everybody's made about aliens.
No, it was like, if I am remembering correctly, that came from a very early abduction claim.
Oh, wow. I thought that was just something people made up to make fun of it.
That's definitely what it's used for now.
Mainly because where I got exposed to that idea was episode 1 of South Park. Yes. So, yeah. Yeah, so.
I think a lot of people are in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, that'll be a fun topic, because there's a lot to it, and it's a kind of thoughtful topic too. Bit of a thought exercise.
Yeah. All right. So if any of you have any questions you'd like to send us for the Ask Anything, whether it's serious or funny or pertaining to the topic that we planned on talking about, then send it in. We'll answer it. You can send it to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Theory of Anything Podcast. We also have a Twitter, which is at ToA Podcast. And, we also have an email, which is theoryofanythingpodcast@gmail.com. And, of course, you can always leave it at the bottom in the comment selection of the YouTube page for this episode. And, anything else, buddy?
No, I think we got it.
Sweet. All right. See you guys in a couple days, actually. Later.